Hey folks, and welcome to Horsemanship 101 again. I want to talk about nutrition. One of the things that I hear in conversation a lot amongst various people is, what to feed a horse. What constitutes good feed? What, supplements should I give? Things like that. And, some people say, oh, my horse likes this feed, or this feed, produces bad behavior, all these different things. And I got the answer to all your questions right here. And you're looking at it. Nice big pasture with lots of fairly natural vegetation. As far as I know, this pasture's never been cultivated, so it is what it is. This is nature's foliage here. There's a lot of variety here. And something that you will find very little of, actually, it's kind of funny, is these thistles right here. When they come into bloom, got a nice bright purple blossom on them. Actually kind of pretty. But the horses actually seem to like them. They like them. They don't touch the plant itself, but they'll eat the blossoms. They'll walk by and they'll pick the blossoms off. There are certain grasses out here they do seem to favor. I find something interesting is that, during the course of the year, their feeding habits change. They will eat different things. There's different weeds and plants out here that they will pick out. They will specifically search out and eat. Like right here, there's probably 10, 15 different kinds of foliage right here. And yet the horse knows what it wants and knows what it needs, and it will pick out individual things in here and eat them. You can say, well, my horse really likes the feed I give it. Well, if the horse is hungry enough, it'll eat anything. I've seen horses eat straw. I've seen horses eat wood. I've seen horses eat all kinds of things they really shouldn't be eating. If they're hungry enough, they'll eat whatever's there. However, if you give them a choice, if you give them a pasture like this where there's, a ridiculous amount of options, including a ways over there, there's even some trees off there, there's some bushes. They'll actually, once in a while, they'll even nibble off the leaves on those things. And it all depends on what they want and what they need. Horses are not stupid. They've survived for thousands of years without our help. They've survived by eating what nature provides, and they know what they need. They know what's good for them. They know what's not good for them. And if you give them the choices, they're going to make smart ones. And the answers to their nutritional needs are all right here. Now, I will elaborate a little bit on that, is to say that what's in the plants is only what's in the ground. So if it's your own pasture, have your soil tested, check for nutrients, minerals, and that sort of thing. It tells you what's going to be in the plants. If you get hay and you don't know where it comes from, get the hay itself tested. If you know where it comes from, you can actually have or if it comes off your own land, you can have the soil tested so that you know what's in the hay because you know what's in the ground. Because there's nothing in the plant that isn't in the ground. With a few rare exceptions, plants will actually produce certain nutrients by combining elements in the soil, but we're not going to get into that. Too much chemistry there. Nutritional needs for horses are actually really hard to find out. There's lots of people that actually are nutritionists, for equine nutritionists, and I find it bizarre because I don't even know how they manage to learn anything because there's so little information available. I've for years I've been trying to find information on the actual nutritional needs and requirements of horses, and there's very little out there. And what little there is in such a language and format that unless you have some kind of degree in science, you aren't even going to be able to read it, and you better have your calculator handy too to do some formulas and that to figure out what the horse is actually getting per pound and ton and everything else that it eats. So, okay, grains and stuff. Most feeds, not all, but almost all, are based on grains and alfalfa and stuff like that, that none of that is a part of the horse's natural diet. Not good. If you want to, this is my idea of natural horsemanship right here. You're looking at it. This is natural horsemanship. Let the horse choose what's good for it. Let the horse eat a natural diet. Don't lock it up in a dry paddock or a stall and feed it grains and feeds and, dried out year-old hay that, has so little nutrient value in it that they don't get what they need. Then you end up with problems with all kinds of other things in the horse. Everything from behavioral to physical problems are caused by keeping your horse locked up in places where it can't come out and graze and pick and choose and eat what it needs to eat, because the horse isn't stupid. Like I said, they've survived for thousands of years without our help. They don't need our help to figure out what they need to eat. They don't need us to provide them with supplements and grains and special feeds and everything else. Most of that crap was developed by people that like keeping horses locked up, and they figure, well, I got to keep this animal alive, so I better figure out how to make a feed that's going to keep the thing going and provide most of what it needs. Well, if you just let the thing out and let it pick and choose, the horse is going to make the smart choices, and it's going to be healthy and it's going to be happy. And aside from grazing and getting its dietary needs, just the act of walking around and grazing is good for the horse. It's good for their circulation. It's good for the digestive system. The movement is essential. They're designed to move. They're made to move. That's what horses are supposed to do. So, you want to solve all your nutritional problems? I know it's not always practical. It's not always easy, depending on where you live and what's available for facilities. But if you've got an option anywhere, if it's even remotely possible that you have an option, and keeping in mind pasture board is usually a whole lot cheaper, usually about half, so if you can get your horse out in something like this where they can pick and choose and eat what they need, you're going to have a healthy horse. You're going to have a happy horse. And all your problems will be solved. You won't have to be spending stupid amounts of money on extra feeds. You won't have to be coming out to give them to them every day. And the horse will make the decisions it needs to make to keep itself healthy. So there you go, folks. Don't underestimate the intelligence of a horse. They know what's good for them. You want to solve all your nutritional problems? Turn them loose. Here it is right here. There's the answer to all your problems. Have a good day, folks.